Hey, glory holes. Welcome back to the Living Richardson podcast. I apologize for my voice today. I am right in the middle of performing Hairspray. We already had our opening weekend this past weekend. We still have 2 more weekends coming up. If you're local to Akron, come check us out. But my voice is shot and the weather is not helping it. But I feel the need to get some things off my chest today. So here we are. It's been a little while since my last episode. I'm going to briefly explain why, but basically, adapting to a new home is still a work in process, especially with 3 kids. And I've had to be honest with myself about how much I can handle. Realistically, I shouldn't have started my podcast back up until after the holidays, but I was just so excited to dive back in. As much as I love creating content for this podcast, I've had to learn to slow down and give myself grace. Life is messy and unpredictable, so I really can't hold myself to rigid timelines when I need to make my family a priority. So for the time being, I cannot promise weekly episodes, but I will still be here doing my thing, diving into stories and conversations that matter most to me, and hopefully you'll be here too. There's been a lot of things on my mind I want to talk about, but today I feel the need to share my feelings on the TikTok ban and where I go from here. TikTok got me sued for $1.6 million by my next door neighbor. Alright, so the platform itself wasn't responsible. They were my videos that I chose to upload. I will take full responsibility. I first joined TikTok at the beginning of the pandemic. I was a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids, ages 8, 5, and 1. As a creative person, I found TikTok to be a fun and freeing way to create and connect with others. I created videos on what I knew best, being a mom, and some inappropriate marriage humor thrown in there as well. As I gained popularity, haters would leave negative comments about me being a stay-at-home mom. You know, your typical bullshit about how we don't work, yada yada. I started clapping back with video responses to those comments, and my following grew even more. Here's my best advice about becoming a content creator. Be the most authentic self that you can be. Somebody out there's gonna like you. Probably. For me, TikTok wasn't just a place to share videos. It truly became a lifeline. It was where I started to feel seen, validated, and supported. I connected with people who understood me, who laughed with me, and who shared their own stories. I realized I wasn't just creating content, I was building a community. So I started sharing more and more of my life with my online community, people who have truly become my support system. That is why when my next door neighbor installed the camera and refused to communicate with us about our concerns, then continuously moved the camera past our privacy barriers, I decided to ask my online community for advice. After making and posting the video, asking if there were any legal routes we could take or a more permanent way to block the camera from viewing what we believe to be our private areas of our home, an online news platform, The Daily Dot, ran an article featuring my video, and my life changed overnight, literally. I had no clue about the article until I woke up to thousands upon thousands of messages. My neighbor claimed he lost a business deal worth $1.6 million just days after my video was posted due to the nature of the comments. To be clear, I have never publicly stated their names or called them what people in the comments did. The haters like to say I'm wrong for sharing my story, but I do it again. I truly believe there was no other way to protect my family. What I publicly shared online was only a fraction of the harassment we endured in real life. After 2 years of emotional instability and being terrified as to the unexpected, the lawsuit was dismissed, and we began to start our lives again. The lawsuit was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through, and I know what it's like to bury my child. It felt like every day was a battle, not just with my neighbor, but with myself. The weight of the accusations, the fear of losing everything I built, the relentless public scrutiny, it was suffocating. But at the same time, it reminded me as to why I started creating in the first place. TikTok gave me a voice when I felt silenced by the chaos of motherhood and monotony of everyday life. It gave me a place to share my truth, connect with others, and remind myself that my story matters. Even in the midst of a storm, I knew that staying quiet wasn't an option. Hell yeah, social media can be chaotic and messy and downright toxic. But it's also this incredible tool for connection, empowerment, and change. Why do you think they want to ban it? Through TikTok, I found a community of people who understand me, support me, and share in the ups and downs of life. They've given me the courage to turn my pain into purpose. I have seen how powerful it can be to lift each other up, to share stories that make us feel less alone, and to build these connections that remind us we're not just shouting into the void. And that's why I refuse to let the darkness overshadow the light. Social media isn't the enemy. Like anything else, it's a tool. It's what we do with it that matters. I've chosen to use it to share my platform, to advocate for myself and my family, and to build a platform that empowers others to do the same. And this is where I have to tell you about something that's been on my heart for a long time: the Silent Mother Project. What started as the Silent Mother Podcast, a place for me to share my journey and connect with other mothers, has grown into something much more. Following the lawsuit, I had to confront my own struggles head on. I had to realize how much of my reactions and emotions during the time were tied to my CPTSD. Something I really didn't fully understand until I started doing the work. Therapy, self-reflection, and leaning into my healing journey taught me so much about myself. As I healed and am continuing to heal, I see the potential to create a space where other mothers can do the same. The Silent Mother Project is now a nonprofit dedicated to amplifying unspoken stories and fostering a community where no mother feels alone. It's about breaking the silence on grief, trauma, and mental health, and transforming that silence into strength. This project is so much more than I ever envisioned when I started the podcast. When I lost my daughter almost 16 years ago, I always knew I wanted to create something to help other women that may have experienced the same thing, and maybe do something in my daughter's honor, her memory. And I finally feel like I figured out how I can do that. The Silent Mother Project is a way to take the lessons I've learned, the struggles I've faced, and the connections I've built, and turn them into something meaningful and impactful for others. So where do I go from here if the TikTok ban really goes through? For starters, I'm doubling down on what matters most: authenticity, connection, and growth. Whether it's through this podcast, the Silent Mother Project, or my other creative outlets, I'm going to keep showing up. I want to keep sharing the messy, beautiful parts of real life and mental illness. To anyone listening who has been told that social media is all bad and that your voice doesn't matter, I'm here to tell you that's not true. Your voice matters. Your experiences matter. And when we come together, when we build communities that celebrate and uplift each other, incredible things can happen. I know my journey as a creator is far from over, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm ready for what's next, and I'm very grateful to have you here with me. Thank you for listening and being part of this glorious Glory Hole community. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, or reach out and let me know your thoughts. I'm on most social media apps: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, if you'd like to connect with me. The TikTok ban isn't the end. I really feel like it's just the beginning. Until next time, Glory Holes, stay strong, stay kind, keep going.